All right, so you're prepping for an ICT Research Manager interview.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and we're here with resources from RoleCatcher to make sure you totally ace it.
Absolutely.
This deep dive is going to be your secret weapon.
We'll unpack those tricky interview questions, sprinkle in some insider tips, and even pull some career advice gold from RoleCatcher's guide.
Now,
You'll be prepped and ready to impress.
okay, so first things first, let's set the stage for our listeners.
Right?
What exactly does an ICT Research Manager do?
They're the bridge between the world of emerging tech and what a business actually needs.
Okay.
Think evaluating trends like, is edge computing going to be big, or 5G network slicing? Figuring out what has real potential, and then leading research projects to see how those trends could become new products or make things run smoother.
So it's like being a tech-savvy strategist connecting innovation and impact, right?
Exactly. You need technical depth, analytical thinking, and communication skills to navigate the complexities of research and make it all make sense for business.
Now, RoleCatcher has identified 10 common interview questions that really get to the core of what makes a successful ICT research manager.
Right.
Let's dive into those.
Sounds good.
Starting with question number 1. Can you describe your experience in developing and implementing ICT research projects?
This is your chance to showcase your experience. Show them you can walk the walk.
Okay.
Don't just list projects, tell a story.
I like that.
Like, imagine you led a research project on cloud migration. You could say, my research on cloud migration led to a 20% reduction in server costs and improved system uptime by 15%. Quantifiable results speak volumes.
Right, so paint a vivid picture, show the impact.
Exactly.
What about follow-up questions? Like, what if they dig deeper into the challenges you faced?
Be ready to talk about roadblocks and how you overcame them.
Okay.
For instance, they might ask, what were some technical challenges you faced during the cloud migration project, and how did you address them?
Okay, so that's where you highlight your problem-solving skills.
Exact.
Great advice for tackling that first question. Moving on to question number 2. How do you stay up to date with emerging trends and technologies in ICT research?
This one's about showing your passion for continuous learning. Don't just say you read articles.
Right.
Name specific publications like IE Spectrum or MIT Technology Review conferences like Black Hat or DEFCON, even online communities focused on things like quantum cryptography. Show them you're actively engaged.
So it's like the difference between just reading headlines and actively participating and seeking out different perspectives, right?
Absolutely.
What if they ask about a recent trend that caught your eye and why?
That's your chance to highlight your analytical skills and how you connect trends to potential business applications.
Okay.
You could talk about the growing interest in edge computing and how it could revolutionize data processing and real-time decision-making in manufacturing or healthcare.
So be ready to articulate not just what's new, but why it matters.
Yeah, and what possibilities it unlocks.
Okay, on to question number 3. Can you describe a time when you had to manage conflicting priorities in an ICT research project? This feels like a classic behavioral question with a project management twist.
It is. The interviewer wants to see your problem-solving skills and how you handle complexity.
God.
To answer effectively, use a clear structure, set the scene, describe the conflicting priorities, explain your steps to address it, and highlight the outcome.
Could you give our listener a concrete example of how to structure that?
Absolutely. Let's say you were leading a project to develop a new mobile app, but had tight deadlines, a limited budget, and user requirements that kept changing.
That sounds familiar.
You could describe how you prioritize features communicated with stakeholders and maybe even adjusted the project scope to deliver successfully.
That's really helpful, turning a tricky situation into a showcase of your adaptability and communication skills.
Exactly.
Okay, on to question number 4. How do you ensure that ICT research projects are aligned with organizational goals and objectives?
Here they're looking for your ability to connect your research to actual business results.
Right.
It's not enough to just know the company's mission. You need to articulate how your work contributes to their goals.
Okay.
For example, you might say, by researching 5G network slicing, I identified opportunities to optimize network performance for different business units, ultimately reducing latency and enhancing customer experience for key online services.
So showcasing you're not just a researcher working in isolation, but a strategic thinker.
Yes, someone who understands the bigger picture.
What are some potential follow-up questions here?
They might ask, how do you stay informed about the company's strategic priorities?
Okay.
This is where you highlight your proactive communication, attending relevant meetings, reviewing internal documentation, and talking to key stakeholders.
Showing how you bridge the gap between research and business strategy.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to question number 5. Can you describe your experience in analyzing and interpreting data from ICT research projects?
They want to see you go beyond just collecting data. You need to find the insights that inform decisions. Describe the tools and techniques you use, but don't just list them.
Okay.
For example, you could say, I used machine learning algorithms to analyze user behavior data, which revealed unexpected patterns in how customers interact with our online platform. These insights led us to redesign the interface, resulting in a 10% increase in user engagement.
So it's about telling the story of how your data analysis led to a positive impact.
Exactly.
Showing the so what behind the data.
Right.
What are some potential follow-up questions for this one?
They might ask,
Sure.
what was the most challenging data analysis project you've worked on, and how did you overcome the obstacles?
Okay.
This is where you highlight your ability to handle complex data sets, clean, messy data, or address limitations in the information you have. It's about resilience and resourcefulness.
That's 5 questions down, and I'm already feeling much more prepared.
Great.
Let's take a quick pause here and come back to tackle the remaining 5 in part 2.
Sounds good. Remember, these questions are just starting points. Be prepared to elaborate, give specifics, and connect your experiences to what the role needs.
Awesome advice.
Yeah. Okay, so jumping back into those interview questions, picking up where we left off.
Okay.
Question number 6 asks, how do you ensure the ethical conduct of ICT research projects?
This feels especially relevant now with AI and data privacy concerns.
Yeah, absolutely.
What should our listener keep in mind with this one?
It's about showing you're aware of ethical considerations in research.
Okay.
Not just listing guidelines, but a thoughtful approach to real-world situations.
Right.
Imagine you're doing research with user data. You could say, to handle data ethically, we got informed consent from all participants, anonymize the data to protect privacy, and set clear protocols for storage and access, all aligned with best practices and data protection regulations.
So showing you're proactive about ethics.
Right, not just reacting when problems pop up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What are some follow-up questions they might ask?
They might ask, what would you do if you suspected unethical conduct in a research project?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, this tests your integrity and commitment to those ethical standards.
Even when things get tough.
Exactly. You'd want to outline a clear plan, like consulting with the right people, documenting concerns, and pushing for a thorough investigation.
So it's about being aware of the rules and willing to take action.
Absolutely.
Okay, on to question number 7. Can you describe your experience in developing ICT research proposals and securing funding?
Here's where you show you can turn research ideas into funded projects.
Okay.
Think about the whole process, from the initial concept to finding funding sources and making a persuasive case. You could highlight a successful grant proposal you wrote, explaining how the research objectives matched the funder's priorities, the potential impact, and a realistic budget and timeline.
It sounds like a mix of research skills, persuasive writing, and financial planning.
It is.
What are some follow-up questions here?
They might ask about challenges you face securing funding, like, have you ever had a proposal rejected? What did you learn?
How interesting.
Yeah, this lets you show your resilience, your ability to learn from setbacks, and adapt based on feedback.
Turning those failures into learning opportunities.
Exactly.
All right. Question number 8. How do you ensure that ICT research projects are conducted within budget and on time?
This one's all about project management.
Makes sense.
They want to see your organizational skills and how you manage resources.
Got it.
Highlight your strategies for planning, scheduling, risk mitigation, and resource allocation.
Okay.
If you know specific methodologies, like Agile or Waterfall, mention those.
Right.
You could say, I use Agile methodologies to break projects into sprints, prioritize tasks, track progress, and adapt to changes, ensuring on time and within budget delivery.
Not just saying you're organized, but showing a structured approach.
Exactly.
Any potential follow-up questions on this?
They might give you a hypothetical scenario like, imagine a key team member leaves mid-project. How would you handle it? Okay.
This lets you show problem-solving, adapting to change, and leadership in keeping the team on track.
So planning and adjusting when things go wrong.
Yeah, that's key.
Question number 9. Can you describe your experience in presenting research findings to stakeholders?
This one's all about communication.
Okay.
Tailoring your message to different audiences, explaining complex things clearly to non-technical people.
Right.
Think about successful presentations you've given. You might say, I presented our cybersecurity research to the executive team using visuals and examples to show the risks and what to do. The presentation led to more investment in cybersecurity.
So translating complex research into actionable insights.
Exactly.
Making it resonate.
What follow-up questions could they ask?
They might ask, How do you handle tough questions or pushback during a presentation?
Okay.
This shows your communication skills, your composure, and how you respond to criticism professionally.
Right, staying calm under pressure. Okay, we're on the last question. How do you ensure that ICT research projects are aligned with ethical and legal requirements, such as data protection regulations?
This highlights ethical conduct and legal compliance in research.
Yeah.
Show, the regulations like GDPR in Europe and CCPA in California,
Right.
they impact how data is collected, stored, and used. You could say, in our research with user data, we used strict data anonymization and access controls to comply with GDPR, ensuring privacy and security.
Showing you're proactive about data privacy and security.
Yeah, making compliance part of the process.
What kind of follow-up questions here?
They might give you a scenario like, imagine you find a potential data breach during a project. How do you respond?
Oh, wow.
This shows, incident response procedures can stay calm and are committed to protecting sensitive information.
So problem solving in a real-world context.
Exactly.
We've covered all 10 questions.
But yeah.
But before we move on to career trajectory, I want to touch on RoleCatcher's AI tools. How can they help our listener prepare for these questions?
RoleCatcher has some really cool AI tools to give you an edge.
Yep.
Imagine practicing your answers and getting real-time feedback on your delivery content, even word choice. That's what their AI does. It analyzes your answers, compares them to best practices, and suggests improvements.
Like having a personal AI interview coach.
Exactly.
Does it help tailor answers to specific job descriptions too?
Absolutely. It analyzes job postings, finds the key skills and experience they want, and helps you highlight those in your answers.
So like a cheat sheet for each interview.
Yeah, making sure your answers match what the hiring manager is looking for.
That's super helpful, especially when applying for different jobs.
It is.
It can boost your confidence knowing your answers are on point.
Right.
Now let's talk about career trajectory.
Okay.
What does advancement look like in ICT research management?
There are several paths you can take.
Okay.
You could climb the ladder within a company, leading bigger teams and taking on more responsibility. Maybe start as an ICT research analyst, then ICT research associate, then ICT research manager, and ultimately senior ICT research manager, setting the research strategy for the whole organization.
So a clear progression for leadership growth.
Right.
What about options for specializing?
Specialization is great. You could become an expert in cybersecurity, AI, cloud computing, even things like quantum computing.
Wow.
If you love cybersecurity, get certifications like CISSP or CSMM, attend conferences like Black Hat or DEFCON to deepen your expertise and network.
So room for both generalists and specialists.
Absolutely.
What about consulting?
Consulting's exciting. You can use your expertise to advise companies on their research strategies, helping them find opportunities, solve problems, and stay ahead of the curve.
So leveraging your expertise across different organizations.
Yeah.
It sounds like continuous learning is key no matter what.
It is.
What skills and responsibilities change as you move up?
Early on, it's research, analytical, and technical skills.
Okay.
As you progress, leadership, communication, strategic thinking, and mentoring become more important.
You'll need to explain complex things, clearly make strategic decisions, and build a culture of innovation.
Okay, let's take another quick break here.
Okay.
When we come back for part 3, we'll look closer at career development and wrap up with key takeaways for our listener. All right, we covered those 10 interview questions and different career paths.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about showing your expertise beyond just your resume.
Right.
RoleCatcher's Guide mentions building a portfolio.
Yes.
What kind of things should someone include?
A portfolio is a great way to show your skills and experience. It makes your resume come alive.
Okay.
Include projects you're proud of, research papers, presentations, even blog posts or articles that show your insights.
So curating work that highlights your skills in ICT research.
Exactly.
Could you give us some examples?
Sure. Let's say you research the impact of 5G on manufacturing automation. You could include a case study with the methodology findings and recommendations.
Okay.
Or if you're into cybersecurity, you could showcase a white paper on threat detection techniques. So demonstrating thought leadership and applying knowledge to real problems.
We got
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It adds credibility to your application.
It does.
And RoleCatcher's Guide also talks about networking.
Yes.
Why is that so important?
Networking is crucial in ICT research management.
Okay.
Things change so fast, connecting with others keeps you ahead of the curve.
Right.
Go to conferences, webinars, join professional groups, engage in online communities.
It's like building your own support system in the field.
Yeah. And who knows, it could lead to job opportunities.
Absolutely. Networking opens doors to new possibilities.
It does. Collaboration, new jobs, insights from others. It's investing in your career.
Now let's circle back to training and development.
Okay.
The guide says ICT research managers often design and oversee training programs.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Because in ICT, continuous learning is essential.
Okay.
Technology never stops evolving. Organizations need their teams to have the latest knowledge.
Makes sense.
As an ICT research manager, you'll identify those training needs, develop programs, and make sure your team is up to date.
So fostering a culture of continuous learning.
Yes, empowering them to embrace new technologies and use them well.
It's more than just doing research yourself.
Exactly. It's about enabling your team to drive innovation and achieve goals.
This has been a great deep dive into ICT research management.
I agree.
From interview questions to career paths, portfolio building, and networking.
It's been a lot.
Any final thoughts for our listener?
Remember, it's not just about technical expertise.
Okay.
Be a strategic thinker, a communicator, a leader, and a lifelong learner.
Those are great points.
Embrace challenges, be bold, and never stop exploring ICT.
So for our listener, you've got the insights, the tools, and resources to nail that interview and launch a successful career.
You do.
Remember, RoleCatcher can help you tailor your answers and practice.
Yeah.
And as you grow, keep learning, keep networking, and keep pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely.
Good luck, and we can't wait to see what you achieve.